What up, YouTube? You can't stop trading and investing with your boy James E. Today, Tuesday morning. Today we're gonna talk about AITX, the continuation of the pattern that I capitalized on yesterday. If you haven't watched yesterday's video, please go and do so. But I want to get into the trade from today and how I was able to capitalize on it and the difference between that and the other ones that I had traded yesterday. But before I get into that, man, please click that like button. Please subscribe. It is very much appreciated. I am not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy that likes to research and analyze anything I find interesting in the stock market. And I like to share that with anybody willing to listen. So that being said, let's just get right into it. So AITX, this was a beautiful move. Winded up collecting nearly 14% profit. Anytime I'm over 10% is a great day. Because if you guys watch my videos, you guys know, my goal is to always capture anywhere between 6 to 10% movement. So anything over 10% is just a blessing. I want to get into how the trade went down, just to show you guys right here in this account. AITX, I made 1100 right here, as you can see, P&L on the day 1100, and then in this one I made 948. So a 948 in this account, and then in the third account I made 1029. A total of over $3,000 profit on the day. Total on the actual position, I made roughly 3,300 because I bought it yesterday. So as you can see, we had this straight dip before the close. Let's get into the 1 minute. So you see this dip right before the close. I was able to get in. I bought 200,000 shares at an average price of 12.2. Bought it in 3 accounts, 70,000 in one, 70,000 in another, and 60,000 in another. And so I was buying it up in here. I think my first purchase was in this area. This was the highest one I purchased. And then I purchased some in this dip. And then I purchased some damn near at the bottom. And then it had a nice pop up, which closed out my day with about a $230 profit to start off this position on AITX. So if you guys watched my last video, I posted, I made about, close to $2,200. Well, add the 230. So I made roughly around $2,400 yesterday. And then today made $3,000. But so total on AITX, I made roughly $3,300 on the position. So I just want to get into it. So if you guys watch my previous video about first green days and how they typically gap up in the OTC market, we've seen it on AITX. We've seen it on OZSC, which also had a nice gap up today. We've seen it on WDLF. This one had a little gap up this morning as well. And we just seen it throughout the market. Same thing right here. SSFT, same thing. First green day, gapped up. So we had talked about that yesterday. Now, AITX was very interesting because if you look at the history, now I always go off chart pattern. I go off chart patterns. I go off of what I'm seeing in the level 2. And, I go on volume. So what I was seeing in the chart pattern yesterday was once we had this gap up, drop, so now we're getting that choppiness, drop, pop. So it maintained this trend, and then we just had a complete drop off, which was beautiful for me because the further it drops off, the most likely we are going to get a bounce. And that's what I anticipated. So now the reason why I chose AITX over, let's say, the other 2 stocks I was in, WDLF and OZSC, which OZSC is having a nice day off some good news. And this one also gapped up. Well, the reason why I chose AITX for my overnight play is because of the history. So, now if you look at first green day here, we had a gap up. And then the second day, whether it was green or red, gaps up. Same thing right here. Drop off first green day, gap up second day after the green day, and gaps up a second time. So first gap up, and then now second gap up. So, when I seen that here, gapped up and then gapped up again, gapped up, then gapped up again. I really anticipated, okay, especially the further this one dropped off, because this was the biggest percent loser I had on my watch list. So we're having this massive run, and now we're having this complete drop off. And then so that right there already had me thinking, okay, this is interesting. And then again, not to mention this part right here. So we completely dropped off and then had a squeeze. And then we dropped off completely down to the 11.5s and had a squeeze. Because I was in it roughly around here and then it just kept dropping. And for a second, my position was down roughly around $400. And, you know, I was thinking I'm just going to hold it overnight anyway. So I'm not going to cut it and take that $400 loss. I'll make it back in the morning. But then it winded up squeezing. And when it squeezed back from 11.5 all the way up to almost 2.5, that told me, okay, that is going to squeeze in the morning. And then sure enough, when I woke up, I came to it about 6 o'clock in the morning. We had 13 cents here by 13.95. And then about 3 minutes before the market opened, this went up to 14.45. And then this one went up, actually it stayed at 13, but then right when the market opened, right at 13. And then it just squeezed instantly because it was 13 by 14.55. So I knew this kept going up. This went from 13.99. Well, actually, I take that back. Originally, when I first woke up, this was 12.5 by 13. And the closing price was 12.3, 12.31. So 12.5 by 13, I said, okay, cool. I'm going to make a nice little profit. I was up roughly around like almost $400 in the morning. And then this jumped up to 13.99 and this jumped up to 13. Then I was like, okay, cool. Now I'm going to make a really nice profit. I'm going to make about a $1,300 profit. And then when I seen this 3 minutes before the open turn to 14.45 and this stay at 13, I knew we were going to have a nice jump up to the 14 areas. And as you can see, it topped out at 14.12. So I caught it in the squeeze. I was out in the 13.89s and 13.78 area. Made me a nice $3 profit, which was roughly around 14%. Well, if we include the $230 I made off of yesterday in the final minutes of the close, overall I winded up with $3,300 profit, which was roughly a little under 14% profit. But it's just understanding and just looking at the history of the chart and how the chart reacts. I noticed it here. First green day gapped up and then another gap up. First green day gapped up, then another gap up. And then again, first green day, gap up, came down, and then another gap up. Now OZSC had a gap up today, but if you look at the history here, first green day, gap up, and kind of just flatline the next day. First green day, gap up, and then gap down. And then another green day bounce, gap up, and then gap down. So that's why I didn't necessarily pick this one, even though this one did have some good news. I didn't necessarily want this one just because of the history, but it did wind up gapping up and it worked. And then same thing with the WDLF. You just got to look at the history of it. This one had a nice gap up and then a gap up again, but I just wasn't seeing a far enough dip. It was still holding flat. So, AITX had that nice drop, complete drop off from the highs of the 15s down to 11s. That's a beautiful drop off. So that told me I was going to have a nice bounce. And I honestly was thinking, I might get a penny a bounce. If I'd have got 2 cents a share, that would have been nice. And, I winded up getting more than 2 cents a share. Or actually, I take that back. I got about a penny and a half off of it. But I had the potential to close to 2 cents. But roughly a penny and a half. Again, that was roughly around 14% profit, which is beautiful. I'll take 14% profit all day, every day. Back-to-back days of just capitalizing on the same overnight plays, just recognizing the chart pattern, recognizing the intraday price action, huge drop. After you have a huge run like this and a huge drop, especially when you see it drop off so fast in a single candle and then bounce back in a single candle, in a 5-minute candle, that's beautiful for a pop back. It's beautiful for a bounce, just like as you see here. Pulls, pushes, or you could see it right here. Pushes, drops hard, pops back. Drops hard, pops back. Drops hard, pops back. Drops hard. It's bound to pop back. I was able to capitalize beautiful on that. So, starting off this week amazing. up about 5,500 profit in 2 days, which is beautiful. And again, man, learning my lessons from rewatching my videos. The last 2 weeks, overall in those last 2 weeks, I went the final week of February, I wound up going red, just a little over 1% on my total net, so really nothing at all. And then climbing myself out of starting off beautifully this month last week with a 2K profit, and then putting myself in a hole, and then digging out of that hole to finish off the week with a $900 profit. Just understanding that I was over trading, and I did exactly what I wanted yesterday. Winded up capitalizing on 2,400 in profit yesterday, and then capitalizing exactly doing the same exact thing today, starting off my day with 3 grand. And I'm gonna wait till the last 30 minutes of the market to see if there's any other move available for me to capture, and continue with just taking it one trade at a time and not over trading, and that's what I continue to capitalize on, and it continues to work for me. So again, man, this was beautiful seeing this, and then seeing this beautiful bounce told me, okay, yeah, we are definitely going to get a nice gap up. I honestly didn't expect it to get out in the 13.8s for a 14% profit. That was actually really nice. I really thought I was going to get out in the 13s, which would have still been a nice profit. That would have been about a 6 to 7% profit, which would have been beautiful if I'd have winded up with that. But God blessed me for a little bit more, and I can't complain about that. So yeah, man. So that's going to be it for today, guys. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think of my analysis. Again, if you made it this far, please click that like button. Please subscribe. You Can't Stop Mafia is a mindset movement, meaning never stop yourself, never stop your progress, never stop your education, especially in finance. Having multiple streams of income is an amazing thing, and the stock market is a place where you can do that. So AITX, capitalizing on those gap ups overnight. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Look at your chart patterns, guys, and see if you notice those patterns in the OTCs, because they do happen a lot in the OTC market when things start heating up. You may find it in a chart that you're looking at, and it's a quick and easy way to get a gain without stressing about holding on whether or not it's going to go up or down. So that's going to be it for today, guys. I'll be sure to keep you updated as much as possible. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.